check marks.
The anticipation.
I think we're good. Okay.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll call this meeting of the Jamestown City Council work session to order. The clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Sheldon.
Here.
Brackman. Here. Karuba.
Here.
Reynolds.
Present.
Faulkner.
Here.
Russell.
Here.
Diversa.
Here.
Eklund.
Here.
President Doles.
Here. This time, we give an opportunity for the public to speak. Is there anyone here tonight that'd like to address the council? Please state your name and address and limit your remarks to 5 minutes. Anybody want to talk? Good.
Good morning. 110 West 3rd Street, which is the Hotel Jamestown. I just want to congratulate the city's coordination on a wonderful Christmas festivities weekend. It was absolutely magnificent. Thank you to everybody involved.
Thank you. Kind words. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, we'll go on to our committee reports. Marie, you want to do housing?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. President. We had a quite interesting discussion at the Housing Committee tonight. It was really a dialogue between the development director and the committee. We talked about the property on North Main Street, that there was a fire, and that was demolished quite quickly. The reason why that one came down before many of the other ones that we talked about is that the property owner had insurance and apparently paid for the demolition. So it occurred at no expense to the city as far as we know. We discussed the Crawford site cleanup, and that again, other than the expenses that have already been incurred for the personnel costs, the fire suppression, all of those costs that we've already incurred, that the rest is being taken over by the EPA, and they are actually there. The first day of cleanup was the day we had the snowstorm, so it delayed that, but everything has to be wet because of the amount of asbestos in the building. So when taken to the landfill, it all has to be weighted down with water, but fortunately we are not paying for the extra tipping fee for the weight, so that was good news. There will be soil remediation done, but with all the New York State brownfield programs, that could be a site that would be shovel ready once all the remediation work is done. We anticipate, given the time frame that they were looking at in the past, that hopefully by spring, probably no later than summer, that site would all be cleaned up. We are still in efforts are being made to try to recoup some of the city's costs for some of the other things I mentioned from the owner of the property, but that all remains to be seen whether any of that will be accomplished. We discussed why the property was not foreclosed on, as there was also $105,000 owed in back taxes from 2017 or 2018, and because of the liability, the county chose not to foreclose on the property, and that is why it remained the way it was. And again, attempts to get the owner had been cited numerous times, but it's an LLC, and the difficulty in getting anything done while that property was before it had burned was very, very difficult. We discussed, as it's been raised by a number of people, what is going on with buildings downtown, development and other things. We discussed the Furniture Mart building. There are attempts to reallocate with the state the DRI funds that have been allocated for bank development. Since that has gone nowhere, they're hoping that the $1 million can be reallocated to the Furniture Mart building, and that they are trying to get that to attract a developer. We talked about buildings that have been vacant. The Havana restaurant downtown is being purchased, and another restaurant will be open there. The Jamestown Housing Authority has all their commercial sites occupied and open. They're very close to a deal on the Southern Tier Brewing, not Southern Tier Brewing, the former brewery on 3rd and Washington, that hopefully that will be done relatively soon. We discussed that there is now a developers forum that's being re-engaged, including the IDA, the GEBI, and the county planning, along with the city DOD, to try to work on some of these sites and getting things in order to get developers in and get these buildings occupied. We talked about ADA compliance, that one of the buildings that the city has been involved in was developed with ADA compliance. We talked about the vacant property ordinance. They're talking with Village of Sherman because they apparently have some language and have been dealing with vacant properties for a while, and it may be helpful to the city to use some of their language in our proposals. Vacant lots, again, have been an issue, and New York State Building Code was changed to allow smaller homes included in the building code, and as long as the setbacks are met, hopefully we'll be able to get smaller properties and smaller homes to build on some of the vacant lots. And there was an RFP for the comprehensive plan, and two companies did bid on that, and they're going to be interviewed this week to do the comprehensive plan for the city, which hasn't been done in quite some time. And a note and a thanks to the department, the Director of Development and all her staff, because all of the accomplishments for the criticism that they have taken was done with 2 years of everything shut down during COVID. I think, a lot of people underestimate how much can be done. We have to get the right people in, the right developers in, and trying to put a package together, especially with financing and other things. Interest rates have gone up, as we all know, and so it's a lot to address to try to encourage people to come in. They have to see foot traffic, they have to see that it's going to make sense for their businesses to come in, and hopefully with what's been done and the groundwork that's been laid, we're going to see many more of these buildings occupied and much more done. Anything you'd like to add?
I just wanna make sure tipping fees are being paid, just not by the city. We're paying the full tipping fees for the landfill.
Any questions? That's it.
Thank you. Very good. Move on to finance, Kim?
Thank you very much. We had a few resolutions, some of them the standard resolutions for the upcoming year. The first resolution is designating depositories for the city of Jamestown. That was approved. Resolution number 2 is same thing, is a new policy, new resolution every year, and that's to designate the city of Jamestown does hereby adopt the following procurement policy for the year 2024, which is intended to apply to all goods and services which are not required by law to publicly bid. I didn't see any changes with it. Carol said there weren't. That was approved. Resolution number 3 is again a standard resolution that the mayor and city council members be and are hereby authorized to attend meetings of the Chautauqua County Conference of Mayors, Southern Tier West Regional Planning and Development Board, the New York State Conference of Mayors, and the National League of Cities, and any other job-related conferences during 2024 with expenses paid pursuant to Section 77B of the General Municipal Law. That was approved. Resolution number 4 was a resolution with a change order to execute change order number 1 with R. Patty Concrete of Jamestown for concrete work on Juliet Street in 2023. Change order dated November 20th, 2023 for a total change in a savings of $6,107.90 for a total contract amount of $167,327.10 subject to the approval of the Corporation Council as to form. That was approved. We did have a brief discussion. There's a lot going down in finance, as you all know, with the 2022 auditors here, with Carol and Joe, and some initial Springbrook software training and some other things. So Carol has not gotten an ARPA update, but has told us she will have it within the next few weeks for us. That will be good through the end of the year. So that was it.
Okay. Any questions for finance? All right, move on to public safety, Brent.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had 2 standard resolutions as well. The one designating the regular meetings of City Council should be held in City Council chambers, municipal building at 7:30 p.m. The evening of January 29th, 2024, and scheduled Monday evenings thereafter in 2024 at the same time and place. It's usually the last Monday of the month with the exceptions of May and December due to holidays. That was approved. Second resolution is a proposed journal B, and it is hereby designated as the official newspaper for the publication of proceedings and official notices for the city of Jamestown. for the period of January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024. That was approved. We did have some discussion on the holiday parade and some concerns that there were cars left parked on West 3rd Street before and during the parade. There was no parking meters were bagged, nothing saying parked cars couldn't be there, no cars were towed as well. But the concern was that there were cars and children were running out between them, trying to get the candy that was being distributed. So it's a public safety issue. So we suggested that we have a meeting with the sponsor of the parade and department heads shortly to address some of these issues. And Jeff said that he would help work to get all these parties together and discuss this and make it a safer event next year. Other than that, nothing else.
Any other questions? Safety? Move on to public works, Randy?
Thank you, Mr. President. The only resolution that we had was the one that was discussed in finance for the change order with the reduction of $6,107 with the job up on Juliet Street. Other than that, we did one point of matter, Church Street between 5th Street and 4th Street has currently one side parking only. And being as it's hard to maintain that through the winter, they're going to designate one day to have maintenance for that day, for the road. Because snow builds up, ice builds up, and you got to eventually get a grader in there. So one day a week, Mark's going to get together and decide what day they're going to do maintenance for Church Street. Other than that, there was really, that was it.
Does that mean no parking that day? Is that?
No, it,
Means they switch to the other side?
was it the other side?
No, that's, so when you have one side parking, most of the streets have maintenance day. So the people just can't park there from a certain hour on a certain day.
Okay.
So we're just gonna find out what time works best for that neighbor, what day works best for that neighborhood, let the residents know, and then sign it.
Yeah, you were gonna
That
send a letter out, or
Yeah.
be in contact with. Okay.
Any other questions? Public works, okay. That's it for resolutions from our committees. Is there anything else before we move on to the mayor? Oh, okay. Just a brief thing to tag on what Mr. Mooney said. I just want to thank Pat Smeraldo and the Collaborative Children's Solutions. It was a big turnout, and the weather cooperated, and everybody did have a good time. I mean, working through some of the parking issues and things that, can be worked on. But for the most part, it was a very nice event, and seemed to go rather well. So.
Just a comment, thank the DPW and the streets for cleaning up the next day. If you lived on the west side of town, it was littered with candy. You could hear it popping under tires, like
Yeah.
exploding.
That's because Billy brought too much candy.
I don't know, I walked back and you could not believe how much candy was
There was a
scattered
lot of candy,
on
yeah.
the street.
Oh, I drove through it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
They did. I heard the tires popping.
Yes, well, I walked back
I
home
know.
from the parade, and
Mm.
it was just unbelievable. And I can honestly say by about 8 o'clock, I rushed out, saw the street sweeper out. Most of it was cleaned up, so kudos to them because it didn't take them long considering how much was out there. They were up bright and early to get it all cleaned up
That's what
and
I heard.
return the street back to the condition it was before the event, so. Thanks.
Anything else? If not, the floor is yours. Do you have anything?
Yeah, well, that was actually going to be my only comment as well, which was thank you all for being a part of the holiday parade. Thank you to Childhood Collaborative Solutions, as well as Pat Smeraldo, our Public Works, not only our Public Works, but our Parks Department, which were hustling to convert spaces very quickly. Folks from the Lamancuso family that came to join as the Grand Marshal from Johnny's Mafia, which helped light the tree. And to all of the 150 folks that came to do parade floats and walking the parade. I was a little afraid that we had more people walking in the parade than on the sidelines, but it looked like we had a great turnout overall, and that's a really wonderful thing. So I want to thank you all for being a part of it, for your support of it, and for continuing to be able to provide this to our residents, and some great fireworks as well, which is always a good thing. And you may notice, I know there's been some concern with fireworks. We're also trying to put out social media alerts about fireworks in advance now and the locations, so that we're able to kind of notify the public of where those are going to be. They want to be away from those areas due to the sound reasons. So it's something that we've been doing since we've got this new communications person. So it's really been helpful to warn the public and get that information out there. So thank you all, and with that, you may end very early.
I can't let a meeting go by without the holiday open house, free to the public at the Fenton, 4 to 6 o'clock, Saturday, December 9th. They'll have refreshments and live music, and Santa Claus will be there, and it's free. And if you wanna see the mansion decorated, they've done a wonderful job. The new
What time is Santa
director-
there?
I know.
What time is
Santa's
Santa?
I need to
4 to
ask Santa for
6.
some presents, I'm sure.
It's at the Fenton.
Some more
The
shoes.
Fenton History Center, and, you can also see the new Governor Fenton items that were donated, and it's very nice, they would appreciate your support.
That's Billy's great grandfather.
I know, we already know about it, we got introduced.
They had a
Great,
nice
great,
turnout.
great.
Michelle
Yes.
and her crew from the county historical society brought some amazing things down that went there instead of the Fenton, prior to the Fenton being founded. But I was glad to see some of the stuff that I had not seen in ever. So very nice. Make sure you show up. It's changed.
Yeah, no, it's very nice, very well exhibited, they have a curator now from California, and she's done an amazing job. People are moving here from out of state and making this.
She's gonna win it. Is there anything else? If not,
All right.